Hello everyone. You are welcome to class today. My name is Mr. Olukorede. Now, I have prepared some questions for us today in today's class, and the question is going to be under a quadratic equation, strictly for students in senior secondary school, right? So, I want you to know something about mathematics today, that mathematics is one of the simplest subjects, and I want everyone to know. Now we are looking at one important topic, which is a quadratic equation. Now, quadratic equation is an equation of this form, okay? An equation of this form where A, B, and C are numbers. They are numbers, and A is not equals to 0. All right. So quadratic equation is of this form where A, B, and C are numbers. So I can simply divide quadratic equation as an equation which maximum power of the unknown is 2. Now, when you look at this now, the maximum power of the unknown here is 2. That makes it to be a quadratic equation. We have other type of equation. We have another one which we call linear equation. That is of this form, plus b equals to 0. Okay, now the power of the unknown here is 1. So we call this linear equation. This is a quadratic equation because the power of the unknown here is what? Is 2. All right. So I want you to also know that quadratic equation is everywhere. All right. So when you throw the direction of the ball, the trajectory of the ball has a mathematical explanation. So we are going to be looking at the practical aspects of quadratic equation in this class. So I'm going to advise you, everyone, that you try and get yourself ready for the class, get your writing material. You need to get a notebook for the class because it's going to be a long series on this platform. So get your writing material ready because it's going to be engaging. I'll be giving you one or two exercises to try, and then once a question is given to you, you drop your answer in the comment section so we see how far you have learned in the class. Okay, so now I want to inform you, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please do that so that anytime we're online, you will be notified that the class has started, because there may be a need for us to reschedule the time of class. So always ensure now that you have subscribed to the channel. All right. Okay. So now you can also invite your friends that the class has started. Okay. So now let us begin the class. So now we are starting with quadratic expression. We are starting with quadratic expression. So now what we are going to do with quadratic expression, we are going to learn how to factorize quadratic expression, because that will help us to be able to solve quadratic equation conveniently. So once we're able to factorize a given quadratic expression, we should be able to solve the quadratic equation. So now let us look at some examples here. Example 1. Factorize the following. X squared plus 8x plus 7 and 2. Y squared minus 5y plus 6. Now look at what we have here. This is not an equation. This expression, quadratic expression. So now we want to factorize the following quadratic expression. Now let's look at the first one. Now we have x squared plus 8x plus 7. Now, when you have quadratic equation of this form, there are two things we are going to look out for: the sum and the product. The sum and the product. Now, the sum is the coefficient of x, which is plus 8, while the product is the multiplication of the coefficient of x squared and 7 here. Alright, so now let us write it out. Sum, I call this sum. So sum is plus 8. And what is product? Now 1 times 7. So product is plus 7. Alright, so what do we want to do to this? Now, we want to cut this plus 8x into 2 parts so that we are going to have 4 terms here. Alright, so there are several ways we can divide this 8x. So 8x can be 3x plus 5x. It can be 2x plus 6x. So we have uncountable way of dividing this. But there's only one way that is going to suit what we need it for. Alright, so and that is the more reason why we have to first look for the sum and product of the quadratic expression. Now the sum is the coefficient of x, which is plus 8, while the product is 1 times 7, and that is 7. Now, what do we do to this? Now, you look for two numbers such that when you multiply the numbers together, you will have 7. And when you add the two numbers together, you will have 8. Okay, so those two numbers is what you just need to rack your brain and get. Now, let me help you out. You see, if I want to get the two numbers must be factor of the product. It must be factor of the product. So now looking at it now, it's going to be 1 and 7. Okay, so 1 and 7 is going to be the two numbers. When you multiply 1 and 7 together, you have 7. When you add 1 and 7 together, you have 8. So the two numbers are 1 and 7. So now, I now have an idea of dividing this 8x. So this 8x now is going to be 1x plus 7x, right? So since the numbers are 1 and 7, right? So now this expression now turns to 8x plus 1x plus 7x plus 7. Okay, you see this expression is the same thing as what we have here, because when you add this and this together, you're still going to have 8x. Okay, now I'm going to take the first pair and look for the common factor. So now what can go here and can also go here is the factor. So now x can go here, x can also go here. So let me factor out x. So we have x. Now, so if I divide this by x squared divided by x, I have 1x. So you have x here. So divide plus x by x, you have 1. So plus 1. So now what I've done to these two terms, I'll factor out x. You will see when you open this bracket, you have what we have here. All right, so x times x, you have x squared. X times 1, you have x. So now let us look at the second pair here. So what is the common factor? It's going to be plus 7, right? So we have plus 7. Now, when you divide this by 7, you have x. When you divide this by 7, you have 1. So that is plus 1, right? So now, the next thing is to look for the common factor here too. What can go here? Because we have two terms here. What can go here and can also go here? That is plus x plus 1. X plus 1, what we have in the bracket here. So x plus 1 and x plus 1. So that means we factor out x plus 1. So now you are left with x plus 7. That's all. That is the answer to the problem. So now we have factorized this quadratic expression. So now this is the answer to that problem. All right, now let's look at the second one. I have y squared minus 5y plus 6. Okay, do you remember what I said earlier? So what are the things I'm going to look out for? I'll look out for the sum and what? And products. So what's going to be the sum of this? So I need you to drop the answer in the comment section. Let me see. Maybe you're in the class. What is going to be the sum? What is the sum and what is the product? sum and products. Okay, so I'm checking now. So what's going to be the sum of this expression and the products? Okay, now let me check. Now drop your answer in the comment section. So what's going to be the sum and products? Okay, I can see someone saying the sum is -5. Okay, what of the products? Okay, product is 6. All right, we are waiting for others. Please drop your answer. What is the sum and product of the quadratic expression we have there? Okay, so tell me what the sum is and what the product is. Okay. All right, some of us are doing very well. Now, those of you that have not dropped your answer, probably are still looking at the expression. So I said earlier now that we need to get the sum and product of this expression, quadratic expression. Now, the sum is the coefficient of y. Now, coefficient of y is the number beside y, and that is -5. So the sum is -5. And what is going to be the product? I said the product is the coefficient of y squared times the number we have here, which is 6. So that is 1 times 6, and that is 6. Or you say plus 6. All right. And don't forget, while we're writing this, we want to divide -5y into 2 parts. So now we need to know the two fractions. Okay, the two fractions, this -5 is going to be. All right, so now we need to get the two numbers such that when you multiply together, you have 6, and when you add together, you have -5. Now, I need you to quickly do that for me. Drop your answer in the comment section. What are the two numbers such that when you multiply together, you have 6. When you add together, you have -5. Okay, so now let's see who is giving us the answer. Okay, I've not seen any answer. Who is giving us the answer? Two numbers such that when multiplied together, you will have 6, and when the numbers are added together, you have -5. Is anybody giving us the answer? And let us try. I'm waiting for correct answer. Okay, somebody has given me 1. I can see 6 and 1 and 6. Somebody gave -2 and -3. Okay. Okay. I can see -3, -2. Yes, -2, -3, -2, -3. Okay, so because of our time, now let us go on with the class. Now don't forget, I said the two numbers, when you multiply the two numbers together, you must have this. When the two numbers are added together, you have -5. Now, I can see someone giving 1 and 6. Fine. If you multiply this and this together, you have 6. But when you add together, are you going to have -5? No. All right. So now those of you that said -2 and -3, now look, have the correct answer. That's very good of you. All right, so now that means this -5y is going to be -2y, -3y. All right, so when you add the two together, you're going to have -5y. Okay, so now let's do that. This expression now turns to y squared -2y -3y plus 6. Okay, so now the next thing is to look for the common factor in the first pair. Now, what can go here and can also go here? right, completely. So that is y. So you have y, so you factor out y. So when you divide y squared by y, you have 1y. So when you divide negative 2y by y, you have negative 2. Okay, so now let us look at this as well. So what is going to be the common factor? That is going to be negative 3. Negative 3. So when you divide this by negative 3, you have y. Divide this by negative 3, you have minus 2. Okay, so you will see when you open the bracket, you have what we have here. So you can always confirm minus 3 times y, you have minus 3y, minus 3 times minus 2, you have plus 6. Okay, so what is the common factor? You can see y minus 2 is common to these two terms, y minus 2. So let's factor that out. So you have y minus 2, and you are left with y minus 3. So y minus 3. So this is going to be the answer to the problem. All right. So I'm going to do one more example, and after that, I'm going to give you something to try. I want to believe you are ready for that. Okay, now let's look at another example. Okay, now this is another one, just like what we just did now. So now let's look at it together. Okay, so we have p squared plus 8p minus 20. Now, the first thing is to look for the sum and product. So what's going to be the sum and the product? Okay, what's going to be the sum? You can see the number beside p, and that is plus 8. That's plus 8. Now, what is going to be the product? You come here, coefficient of p here, p squared here is 1. You use it to multiply what we have here. That is minus 20. So that's going to give you minus 20. All right. So now the next thing is we want to divide this into two parts. So what are the two numbers such that when you multiply together, you have minus 20, and when you add together, you have plus 8. So what are the two numbers? So I need you to quickly do that for me. Now I said that you look for all factors of this, negative factors of the product. So begin to think of negative factors of the product. So we have minus 2, we have minus 5, we have minus 10, okay? And then we also have minus 20. So now let us look at it. Which one will work? So now let's see. We can think of, let's say, minus 2 times 10. Look at minus 2 times 10 now. If I multiply this and this together, I have this. When you add this and this together, you have 8. Okay, so that means the two numbers will be minus 2 and plus 10. Okay, so now, so you have p squared minus 2p plus 10p minus 20. All right, you will see that when you add this and this together, it's going to give you 8p. So you must always confirm to be sure that you have not altered the expression. All right, so now let's look at the first pair. What's the common factor? Okay, that's going to be p, right? Good. So we have p. Now when you divide this by p, you have p. All right, so divide this minus 2p by p, you have negative 2. All right, now let's look at this now. What is the common factor? Now 10 can go here, 10 can also go here. So the common factor is going to be what? 10. So that's plus 10. So when you divide this by plus 10, you have P. Divide this by plus 10, you have negative 2. Right? So now the common factor here is going to be P minus 2. So you have P minus 2 and a P plus 10. So this is going to be the answer to the third one. Now let's look at the fourth one. After this, I'm going to give you something to do. All right. Now we have a squared minus 17ab plus 42b squared. Okay, so that's the next question. So now we need to look for the sum and product. So what's going to be the sum and what is the product? So now you look for the sum. Sum is what? Coefficient of AB. The number beside AB here is going to be the sum. So that is what? Minus 17. Okay. So now the next thing now is the product. Product is the coefficient here times the number we have here. So 1 times 42. So that means the product is what? 42. Now you look for two numbers such that when you multiply together, you have 42. And when you add the two numbers together, you're going to have this. So what are the two numbers? So let me give you 1 minute to quickly do that for me. Yes, the two numbers. What are the two numbers? Okay. Yes. All right, now let's see. Yes, the two numbers. Okay, I'm waiting for you to give me the two numbers. And nobody have dropped any answer. Two numbers such that when you multiply together, you have 42. And when you add together, you have minus 17. Okay, I can see somebody dropping 3 and 14. Okay, that's a good move. Yes, but then as you are dropping it, you can always ask yourself question. When you add the two numbers together, are you going to have what we have there, minus 17? Yes. Okay, I can see Show Me Day, I can see Abib Bello. All right, so I can see Balogun. I think Balogun is now changing his results. Okay, so I can see Bamidele, minus 3 plus 14. Yes. Uba, I can see 3 and 14. Ajayi Amida, I can see 3 and 14. Yes, let's wait for others. Okay, Show Me There, I can see negative 3, negative 14. Yes. Okay, so we don't really have much time. Now let us see. Okay, now that is what I want. I love that we have different answers so that we know which one is right and which one is wrong. I can see 3 and 14. I also see 3 and positive 14. No, negative 3 and positive 14. And also I can see minus 3 and minus 14. Now, so I'm sure that one of the answer is correct. Okay, now let's look at the first one. Now, when you multiply these two numbers together, you will have plus 42. But check, if you add this together, is it going to give you negative 17? Oh no. All right, so that cannot be the answer. So this cannot be the answer. All right, now let's look at this second one. When you multiply this and this together, you are going to have negative 42. So this is not negative 42, so it can't be this. It can't be this. Now let's look at this one. When you multiply this and this together, negative 3 times negative 14. Now minus times minus is plus. So 3 times 14 is 42. Correct. Now add this and this together. So when you add negative 3 and negative 14 together, you have negative 70. So that's going to be the answer. All right. Okay, so those of you that got the answer, give yourself a round of applause. So, and those of you that also tried, that didn't get the answer, please comment them by clapping for them. All right, now let's look at it now. So that means the middle term here, minus 17ab will be minus 3ab plus minus 14ab. All right, so and that is going to give us minus 17ab. All right, so this turns to a squared minus 3ab minus 14ab plus 42b squared. Okay, can you see that? So you must write it in terms of what we have here. This is ab. All right, now let's look at this. What is the common factor here? A is common. So when you factor out a, divide this by a, so you are left with a. Divide this by a, you have minus 3b. Okay? Divide this by a, you have a. Divide this by a. This a will go, so you'll be left with minus 3b. Okay, now let's look at this. What is the common factor? The common factor is minus 14b. Minus 14b. B can go here, B can go here, 14 can go here, minus 14 can go here, and minus 14 can go here. So we have minus 14b. All right. So when you divide this by minus 14b, so you'll be left with what? A. Okay. So when you divide this by minus 14b, this returns to negative here. So you have minus. All right. So that is going to give us 3b. Okay. You see, when you use this to multiply this, you have this one back. So minus 14b times minus 3b, that gives you plus 42b squared. So when you use minus 14b to multiply a, you have minus 14ab, which is what we have here. So you can always check whether your answer is right or not. Okay, so now what's the next thing? Bring out the common factor. And that is what? A minus 3b. Okay, so now you are left with a minus 14b. This is going to be the answer to the problem. All right, so I think I'm done with mine. So now let me give you your home. Try this. Factorize x squared minus 3x minus 28. Okay, now let's quickly do this and let me have your answer in the comment section. Factorize x squared minus 3x minus 28. So you just have 3 minutes to attend to that question. Okay, I can see that a lot of people have attempted this question. I'm seeing similar results. Okay, so um, let's do the correction to it. Let's see. Um, let's look at let's. Okay, so let's confirm whether our answer is correct. Now we have x squared minus 3x minus 28. Now, what is the first thing to look at is look out for the sum and product. So the sum here is what? Minus 3, while the product is minus 28. Okay, now so use what we have here to multiply this. Now, I told you earlier now that if you want to get the product, begin to look for factors of 28. So begin to look for factors of 28. So you can look for the negative factors of 28. So we can see, I think 1 is a factor, 2 is also a factor, we have 4 is a factor, 7 is a factor, and 14 is a factor, 28 is also a factor. So now let's see. Now you begin to look at it. Among all those factors, which one are you going to pair up? So you can think of 7 and 4. Look at it. When this and this is multiplied together, you have this. But I told you, since we have negative here, we now begin to look at it. If we have this and this, is it going to work out for me? When I use this to multiply this, I'm having plus. So that means both cannot be negative. Otherwise, I'm going to be having positive. So I either consider this or I say minus 4 and 7. So now if I multiply this and this together, I have minus 28. When you multiply minus 4 and 7, you have minus 28. But the two cannot be correct. So when you add this and this together, you will see you're having minus 3. You have a depth of 7 and you have 4. So that means you'll be having a depth of 3. So this one gives you plus 3. So since what we have here is negative 3, so we are considering this. So this one is wrong. Okay, so that means the expression we have here turns to x squared plus 4x minus 7x minus 28. Okay, so you look for the common factor. So the common factor is what? X. So what can go here is x. What can go here is x as well. So we are left with 4. So what is the common factor here? That's going to be negative 7. So when you divide this by negative 7, you have x. Divide this by negative 7, you have plus 4. All right? So you can see now the common factor is x plus 4. So x plus 4, we are left with what? X minus 7. So this is going to be the answer. So now, how do we award mark? Now, for writing this expression, we have a method mark of 1. Okay, and for getting your answer, we have an accuracy mark of 1. All right, so if you get the answer, put your hands together for yourself. So that means you are learning, you are very smart. Okay, so we are moving to another aspect of quadratic expression. Another aspect of quadratic expression. Now let's look at it. Okay, so now how do we solve this problem? All right, so the first one, we have 2x squared plus 7x minus 15. Now, you can see the difference between this one and the ones we have been doing. Now, the coefficient of x squared has been 1. All right, this time around now, look at the set of questions we have here. The coefficient is not 1, here is 2. The coefficient of x squared here is what? 8. So how do we solve this type of problem? All right, now, so you look out for your sum and products. So don't forget, I said that your sum is the coefficient of x here. So you can put it there. Sum is what? Plus 7. And the product is the number here times the number here. So we have 2 here. So 2 times minus 15. That gives you minus 30. So that's going to be the product. Don't just pick the number we have here. So the coefficient of x squared here, use it to multiply the number we have here. So that's going to give you minus 30. So now begin to look for factors of 30 because you need to get two numbers which multiplication gives minus 30 and the addition gives 7. All right, so what are the two numbers? Okay, what are the two numbers? So I think that's going to be your plus 10 and minus 3. Okay, all right, is that what you have as your answer? All right, so if this is what you have, that means you are correct. So now when you use this to multiply this, you have minus 30. When you add this and this together, you have what? You have 7. So now this expression turns to 2x squared plus 7x, plus 10x minus 3x minus 15. Okay? So now, what is the common factor here? So the common factor is 2x. 2x can go here, 2 can go here, 2 can go here, x can go here, x can also go here. So that means the common factor is going to be 2x. So when you divide this one by 2x, what do you have? You have x. So you have x here. Divide this by 2x. First divide this 10 by 2. You are going to be having what? 5. So divide x by x. So that's going to be plus 5. Get that? Now look at this. The common factor is going to be negative 3. Now, I don't know, maybe in your mind you'll be asking me, why negative 3? Why not 3? 3 can also go. I'll put my attention on the sign that I have here. So in most cases, I use the sign that I have here, the preceding sign here. So it's going to be negative 3. I will not use plus 3 because if I factor out 3, I will still have to factor out negative again so that I'll be able to have the same thing I have inside this bracket. Okay, so now let me factor out minus 3 here. So when you divide this one by minus 3, you have what? X. Divide this one by minus 3, you have what? Plus 5. You will see that what we have in this bracket and what we have here are the same thing. Right, and that's my objective. So now, once I have that, so I just factor out x plus 5. So I have x plus 5. Now I'm left with 2x minus 3. So we have 2x minus 3. So now this is going to be the answer to that problem. Now let us look at the next one. We have 8x squared minus 14x minus 9. Okay, now the first thing is to look for the sum and products. So what's going to be the sum of this? Negative 14. Negative 14. And the product will be what? The product is going to be 8 times minus 9. Don't forget I said the coefficient here will multiply what we have here. So that's going to give you minus 72. Okay? So now you now look for two numbers such that when you multiply together, you have this. And when you add together, you have this. You see, in my mind, I know the two numbers cannot have negative at the same time, because once I multiply negative and negative together, I'll be having plus, which will not be correct because what I have here is negative. Okay, so now I'll just look for two numbers that one will be having negative while the other will be positive. So what are the two numbers? So let's look at 14 and 18. Now look at 14 and 18 now. So when you multiply this and this together, you have 72. All right, so I want to have negative 72. So you see that I have minus 4 times 18, or I have 4 times minus 18. All right, so now when you add this and this together, you are going to have plus 14 minus 4 plus 18. That gives you plus 14. And what I have here is negative 14. So now this is going to be the answer. So plus 4 minus 18. That gives you minus 14. Is that clear? All right. So now that means minus 14 here is the same thing as plus 4x minus 18x. Can we input that here? So we have 8x squared plus 4x minus 18x minus 9. All right, so that is what we have there. Okay, now let's move forward. So now let's look at it. What is the common factor here? The common factor here is going to be what? 4x. 4x. So 4x is the common factor. So you just look for the HCF, right? The highest one. All right. So now we have, now when you divide this by 4x, what do you have? You have 2x. Divide this by 4x. 4x divided by 4x, that is 1. You have 1. Now look at this. What is the common factor? I told you, consider this sign. So I'm considering the sign, so I know negative will precede. So I factor out negative. So that is going to be negative 9. Negative 9. So if I divide minus 18x divided by minus 9, that gives you what? 2x. So plus 1. Okay. So when you divide minus 9 by minus 9, you have plus 1. Okay. So the next thing is to look for the common factor. So the common factor here is what? 2x plus 1 is common. So let's factor out that. So we have 2x plus 1, and we are left with what? 4x minus 9. So that is going to be the answer to the second problem we have here. Now let us take another example. So after that, I'm going to give you something to do that is similar to what we have on the board. Okay. Okay. Now let us look at this problem. Now this expression is in terms of x and y. So now you have to factorize this expression. Now what is the first thing? Look for the sum and product. Sum, product. Okay. So the sum is going to be the coefficient of x, y, right? So and that is going to be plus 7. Why the product is going to be 2 times minus 15, and that gives you minus 30. So You look for two numbers such that the multiplication gives you minus 30 and the addition gives you what? 7. So what are the two numbers? We have plus 10 and minus 2. Okay? Okay, minus 3, sorry. Minus 3. So these are the two numbers. So let's incorporate that here. So we have this turning to 2x squared plus 10xy minus 3xy minus 15y squared. You will see once you say 10xy minus 3xy, you're going to have 7xy. All right? Okay, good. So now you now look for the common factor here. So what is the common factor or the HCF of these two terms? So that is going to be what? That is 2x, 2x, 2x. So when you divide this by 2x, you are left with x. Divide this by 2x, you are left with 5y. Okay, so what is the common factor here? The HCF here, that is what? Minus 3y. When you divide this one by minus 3y, you are left with x. Divide this by minus 3y, you are left with plus 5y. Okay, you will see once you open the bracket, you have what you have here. All right, so now the common factor is what? Common factor is x plus 5y. So we are left with this and this. So you have 2x minus 3y. So this is going to be the answer to the problem. All right, so I want to believe we've learned one or two things. So I'm going to be giving you your own to quickly try, and you drop your answer in the comment section. Now, factorize 6x squared plus 15x plus 9. Factorize this. Let me see your answer. So I want to see the person or the group of people that is going to get the correct answer. All right, so while you are doing that, you are just joining the channel and you have not subscribed to this channel, ensure you do that. Make sure you tap the like button, and also always remember to invite somebody to the class. All right, okay, now let's quickly do this now. Factorize this. Yes, I'm waiting for your answer. Okay, I have an answer from Nifemi. Okay, I have 3x plus 1, x to x of all that. Okay. All right, let's wait for others. Okay, I'm still waiting for others. what is going to be your answer when you factorize 6x squared plus 15x plus 9? Okay, I can see Makinde Adiola, yes, 2x minus 3y, x plus 3y, okay. Now let's wait for others. Okay, just only 2 people have dropped our answer. What's happening? Let's wait for 2 more answers and we now roll out the solution to that problem. Okay, Balogun have dropped an answer here. So that's 6x plus 9 times x plus 1, okay. Okay, Ajayi Amida have dropped an answer. All right, we have 6x plus 8 times x plus 1. Okay, let's wait for one more answer and then we move on. All right, where are others? Where is Uber? Where is Risco? Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Now I know there are some of you that will still be on it solving the problem, but because of our time, to solve the problem together. All right. So we have to factorize 6x squared plus 15x plus 9. You see, once I see any problem of this form, what first comes to mind is how will I make the work easier? Now, looking at it now, using 6 times this, I'll be having a big number for the multiplication. Okay, so I'll now think of, okay, what can I do to make the work easier? All right, so now see, now I observe now that 3 is common to these terms we have here. So I can write this expression as 3 factorial 3. So I divide this by 3. So I have 2x squared. Divide this by 3. I have plus what? That's 5x. Divide this by 3. What do I have? I have 3. That's plus 3. Okay, so what I still have in the bracket is still a quadratic expression. So now I will just factorize what we have inside. So I will leave this one outside here. Okay, so now let's do that. I have 3. Now here, look at what we have inside the brackets. We can look for the sum and products. Now the sum is what? Sum is plus 5. And the product is what? 2 times 3. 2 times 3, that's 6. And now it's straightforward. Now, two numbers such that when you multiply together, you have 6. And when you add together, you have 5. The two numbers are 2 and 3. I think that one is straightforward. Okay, so now you have this turning to 2x squared plus 2x plus 3x plus 3. Okay, so now these 5x are turned to 2x plus 3x. So this one is this, and this 3 is this one, all right? So nothing has changed. So we have 3. Now you can factor out. What's the common factor here? What can go here and can also go here? That's 2x, the ACF of these two terms. So we have 2x. So when you divide this one by 2x, you'll be left with x. Divide this by 2x, you'll be left with what? 1. Now the common factor here is 3. So you have 3. When you divide this by 3, divide 3x by 3, you have x. 3 divided by 3 is 1. Okay? So now let's look at what we have in the bracket now. So what is the common factor? Common factor here is x plus 1. And you are left with what? You can simply write the 3 here. You are left with what? 3 2x plus 3. And this is going to be your answer. All right, so this is the correct answer. So for those of you that got this answer, you can put I think one person got the answer. All right, I didn't make a mistake. So now, so this is going to be the answer. Now I can see that some of us solved the problem, but we didn't finish it. So I saw something of this form: x plus 1, 6x plus 9. So if you have your answer in this form, you are correct, but that is not the final answer because you can see factor out 3 here. All right. So if you have this one, you just go further by looking for the common factor in these two terms, which is 3. And that is what we have here. But if you got this, you have tried. So if you get this answer, you can clap for yourself. Those of you that didn't get anything, make sure you clap for those people that got the correct answer. And don't forget to clap for me as well, because I got the answer. All right. Okay, so that is the answer to this problem. All right, so we are going to be stopping for today here. So if you are watching, you have not subscribed to this channel, kindly subscribe. Make sure you tap the like button. Make sure you share this video with your friends. Okay. All right. So this evening we are going to be having another session. So we'll continue from where we stop. But I will not just let you go. I'm going to give you something to try, so that by the time we meet later today, around 8 p.m. in Nigerian time, right? So we are going to give you the solution to that problem. All right, now let me give you this, so you try against the next class. So let's say 6x squared. 6x squared plus 35x minus 6. And the second one, which is x squared plus 4x minus 6. Minus 6. Okay, so these are the problems. So you try this, and in the next class, I'm going to ask you to drop your answer in the comment section. So this is the problem we have here. So I want to believe you guys have learned one or two things. All right. So make sure that in the evening you invite your friends. So your classmates, make sure you invite them to the class. All right. So thank you very much. Bye bye.